Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal match preview time. And right from the start, I don't want to lie, man. I don't want to lie about this one. I am definitely thinking about Real Madrid. I am not really thinking about this Brentford game. Of course, I want us to win. Of course, I want us to get 3 points on the board. Obviously, I want us to, we are now 5 points ahead of Nottingham Forest with 7 games to go. Of course, I want us to, at least stay second. Let's not get into the last 3-4 games, with Nottingham 2-3 points behind us, and we're going to be playing Liverpool and Newcastle, and you're going to be needing to win all of those games to stay second. I don't want that kind of situation, but we have such an important game coming up against Real Madrid, a game that I think we need to treat it like it's still, let's say 1-0 to us. So we need to treat it like that, go out there, defend well, give the same energy we did in the first leg. And yes, you can do that still by playing the same players over the weekend, but the best thing to do is, rest some players. And for me, again, right from the start, before I even get into the match preview, that applies to Jurriën Timber. Just like last week, I said Jurriën Timber should not play in this game. He was so tired. He had different knocks. He was getting treated every now and then. I don't want Timber to play this game. I do not want Bukayo Saka to play this game, even if he's fit. I don't want him to play this game. He was the ankle injury that he got. He was literally stepped on. I don't remember by who. I don't know if it was one of the players. I don't know if it was Camavinga or someone. Someone stepped on him and then they got a free kick and then Rice took it. I think Alaba fouled him for the first one. Someone else for the second one. And then I also do not want Declan Rice to play. He also, went off with a knock. So basically anyone who was subbed off the other day, those 3 players, we can rest them. There's other players who can deputize in those in this game. And actually for me, I would rest a 4th player, that is Saliba. The rest of the players, no problem, they can play. And whoever comes on in this game, I want them to show something. We still have some good players coming off the bench, players like Ben White. Those are very capable players. Trossard did not start the other day. Those are very capable players who can come on and do something. So next up, it's Brentford. We'll come to the lineup later. It's Brentford next up. For us, we're kind of in a situation where, if you win and then Nottingham Forest lose and you're 8 points ahead of them, and then Liverpool beat West Ham and the gap remains the same, we're going to be in a position where we are so far back from first, and third is going to be so far back from us. And basically the next 6 games, yes, we'll want to win them, but they won't really matter. Whether we win, we stay in the same place. Whether we lose, we stay in the same place. So we're in that situation. Now, are Brentford in that same situation? Brentford currently, they're not in the top half. They're currently 12th. Brentford is actually one of the teams that I like in the Premier League, one of the teams that I don't mind alongside teams like Brighton. So they do have 42 points at the moment. That is 9 points behind Aston Villa in 7th. So they're not going to get in the Europa League spots. I think maybe conference might get 8 might get conference this season or something. I'm not 100% sure. But even then, they're like 6 points behind Fulham. So Brentford will need to pass Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham to get in any European spots. And to do that, they will need to win around, out of the 7 games remaining, they'll maybe need to win like 6 of them to get in and around those areas. Now, will they do that? I don't expect it. But I'm sure they'll still want to finish the season well. I don't think they're on the beach already. So they'll still give us a game. And players like Mbeumo and Visa, they always seem to be there. They're always there. Apart from the injury Visa got earlier this season, they're always there. They're always very dangerous in counterattacks. I'd like a player like that. Those players, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Mbeumo, Visa. I'd love a player like that to have in the team, in our team. Someone who just loves to get the ball and run and take on defenders. I like players like that. And just one of them, I'd absolutely love them at Arsenal, even if it's just a bench player. So it's not going to be an easy game. Now, considering I'm sure most of the players' minds are on the Real Madrid game, I'm sure no one will want to get injured, especially if there's people start thinking that, oh my goodness, you can actually get into the semi-final. That's 3 games away from winning it. Then you have to be very, very careful. But we still need to get past Madrid, and Madrid are going to bring the energy in that game. Madrid are playing Alaves away over the weekend. They need to win their game as well because they're still fighting for La Liga. Now, we do have a good record against Brentford. Luckily, earlier this season, actually not that far, earlier this year, we beat them by 3 goals to 1. And Brentford is a really funny team this season. When we played them in January at their place, at that time, they had one of the best records at home. They were winning almost every single home game. I think they're amongst the top 2 best teams at home. Now, we are playing them at our place, which is away from for them. Now they all of a sudden over the last 2-3 months they have a better away record than they have at home. They've been basically losing every single home game and winning a lot of away games. So they've literally switched from the time we played them. They've switched their home form and away form. They switched around. So it's not going to be easy. They'll be winning their away games mostly, because of their counter-attack very good. And it's not just Mbuemo and Visa. They have players like, Damsgaard and Norgard and all those guys who can do the job for them. And I think they have a very good manager. So we beat them earlier this year 3-1. That was New Year's Day. That was a very good win. I remember, coming into the new year and playing Brentford away. That's never an easy game, but you actually handled that game very, very well. We managed to score 3 goals in that game. I think we actually played really well in that one. So do I expect the same kind of game? It's very tough to predict this one because I don't know how we are going to approach this game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a dull 1-0, game that, not too much energy and all that. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, I'd still be disappointed in that because even if we make changes, I'd want the players who are coming in to try and prove something. If we went to the first team and, players like, Saliba and Odegaard are all playing, I'd expect a couple of goals and maybe I'd be more understandable if the energy is not too high. But if the other players start, then I'd think, they're going to give more in this game, trying to prove something. If we get past Madrid, surely these players are going to be wanting, to feature in those semifinals and final. Saka is not 100%. Tiba has not been 100%. We are going to need everyone. That's why in yesterday's video, I was very happy that Calafiori is back because we're going to need him, even if it's not defensive, even attacking wise. We're going to need him. We're going to need all those players. We want to have enough players on the bench, enough options to rotate in the Premier League games. If you're going to go to the next round, the Champions League, we need that. So Brentford 3-1 earlier this season, and last season we beat them home and away 2-1 and 1-0. The previous season we drew at our place 1-1. That was the game that a referee was sacked because he forgot to draw lines. I don't know if it was Lee Mason or someone. And then 3-0 again in 2022 at their place. That was another very good game, Vieira and Jesus, I remember. So basically, since they came to the Premier League, they've only beaten us once out of the 8 games we've played. They've beaten us once, we've drawn once, and we've beaten them 6 times. So we do have a good record against them. And hopefully it does continue this week. Because if you win this game and you go to 65 points, extend the gap between us and Nottingham Forest. Next up, it's Ipswich, a game we'd expect to win. And we also have Southampton at the end of this is another game we'd expect to win. The others are not easy. You're going to play Bournemouth, you're going to play Liverpool, you're going to play Newcastle. So we don't want to go into those games with too much to play for. You want now to focus on the big ones. So I can't lie. Yes, we're still going to watch it. Obviously, we still want Arsenal to win and stuff. But, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of lineup Arteta goes for. Because for me, the lineup that I'd go for, I'm putting it on the screen right now. That's the lineup I am going to go for. So in goal, Raya. So not too many changes there. At the back, I am going to bring in Tierney. Tierney at left back. I want him to play there. Get some minutes. In his legs as well, maybe get subbed off in the second half for Lewis Skelly or someone else. You're also going to need Tierney a lot. Like if you're going to ever turn to a back 5 or back 6 in this Real Madrid game or the next round, Tierney is going to feature. I'm going to start Kivy again. He hasn't played too many minutes this season, so play him again. But Saliba, I need him to rest, to be honest. I need Saliba to rest. He played both games for France over the international break. He played last week as well, those Premier League game against Everton. We need to find somewhere to rest Saliba because we are not going to get anywhere else unless we rest him against Ipswich. That could be the last chance to rest him. So I am going to rest him for this one, play Ben White, and then that means we have slight problem at right back. So if Arteta does decide to rest Saliba, I think he might end up playing either Partey at right back. Yeah, I think it's going. If Saliba is rested, I think Arteta is going to play Partey at right back because I can't see anyone else. But maybe that is the reason why he'll still just play Saliba and have Ben White at right back. But for me, what the hell? Just play Zinchenko there is going to drift into midfield more, then ask whoever's playing at right wing to come and defend more. That is what I'm going for. Midfield, Jorginho, Nwaneri, and Odegaard. That is what I've gone for. Again, I don't think I will play both Nwaneri and Odegaard. I think if that is the case, it's going to be Merino next to Odegaard. I don't want Trice to play, man. He gave so much effort the other day. Let's have him 100% against Real Madrid because it's going to be a lot of in energy needed in that game. I don't have a problem if Partey starts ahead of Jorginho and then Jorginho comes on because Partey was rested against Everton, so no problem. Odegaard starts again. He was also rested against Everton, and then Nwaneri hasn't played too many minutes. Up front, I think it's slightly easy. Trossard hasn't been starting. He starts on the left. Sterling, he was suspended for the Real Madrid game. He starts on the right. He got an assist last game for Trossard, and then Merino up front. We don't have too many other options there. So on the bench, that leaves Neto, Lewis, Kelly, Saliba, Partey, Rice, Martinelli, Butler, Edeji. I'd like to see Dorman on the bench, and also Kabia. So that means, how many players am I resting? I'm only really giving Lewis Kelly a breather. I don't have a problem if he starts and gets subbed off, but the main ones are Timber, Saka, Rice, and Saliba. As you can see, Saka is not even on my bench. Just keep him home. I don't know how CS the knock was, but I wouldn't play him in this game. Saliba on the bench, Pat on the bench, Rice, Martinelli. If we need them, no problem. If a Partey comes on for 35 minutes, if a Lewis Kelly comes on for 35 minutes, even if a Martinelli comes on and Trossard is subbed off for 30 minutes, then I'd like to see one of the youngsters, Butler, Deji, Dorman, Kabia, just one of them. Usually give our youngsters opportunities against Brentford like we did in Nwaneri, play one of them. But that would be my starting lineup. I don't think that is too crazy. We still have Trossard there, Merino there, Odegaard is still there, Ben White is still there, Raya is still there, and then you'd like to think players like Sterling have the experience in Zinchenko team. It's not like we're playing kids. No, this is still a team that would be like, okay, we can do the job. Now, I'd expect us to concede a goal if he went and played, Zinchenko right back and stuff like that. I'd expect us to concede a goal. But listen, my focus is on the Real Madrid game, and I think this team would still be able to at least get a win in this one. So I am going to go for Arsenal 2, Brentford 1, and I'm going to go for, Trossard to get in the score sheet and Merino to score again. Hopefully he can keep his record going, because Merino has been really good for us. He scored a lot of goals, actually. I think since February, he's number 3 in terms of scoring goals. He's ahead of Salah, he's ahead of Isaac in terms of goals scored since February. So he has been scoring goals. I think it's only Asensio and Bruno Fernandes who are ahead of him, because he's gotten 6. And I'd bet on him to get at least 10 before the end of the season. So yeah, hopefully he can get the job done and then also get subbed off. So let me know your prediction. Let me know your starting lineup. Would you just keep the lineup the same? And who are the 3 players you really want to be rested the most in this one? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.